That first year of owning land, it's a lot in the best possible way. But there are some things nobody really warns you about, and today we're going to talk through all of it. Hey, welcome back to the Land Buyer's Guide. I'm Scott Thomas, founder of landparker.com, where we help everyday people get onto rural land with affordable pricing and owner financing that actually makes sense. We're talking as low as $100 down and $100 a month. So if land ownership feels out of reach, it really might not be. But that's a conversation for another day. Right now, I want to talk about what actually happens after you buy. Because a lot of people spend months, sometimes years, thinking about buying land. And then the day finally comes, they close on the property and they're like, okay, now what? So let's walk through what that first year tends to look like. The things that go great, the things that catch you off guard, and how to set yourself up to actually enjoy the process. The first thing I want to say is, don't rush. Seriously. When people first get their land, there's this instinct to start doing stuff immediately. Clearing trees, mapping out where the cabin's going to go, all of it. And I get it. That excitement is real. But the smartest move in those first few months is actually just to observe. Walk your property. Walk it in the morning. Walk it after a rainstorm. Walk it when it's dry. You'll learn things about that piece of ground that no listing description could ever tell you. Where water collects after heavy rain, where the sun hits best in the afternoon, which areas stay soggy, which spots are naturally flat and high and dry. And while you're out there, walk your boundaries. Know where your lines are, especially if the land is wooded or has an irregular shape. If there's any uncertainty at all, a survey is worth the money. Property disputes with neighbors are not how you want to spend your first year. Also, pay attention to what's already there. Mature trees, natural springs, rock formations. These are resources. Some of them you'll want to build around, some you'll want to preserve. You don't want to bulldoze something you're going to wish you had kept. And check your access. Make sure you understand exactly how you get onto your property legally. Are there easements? Is there a shared road? Get that sorted early. Now here's something a lot of first-time buyers underestimate: zoning and local rules. This stuff matters, and it varies a lot depending on where your land is located. What you can build, what permits you need, whether you can put up a cabin or a barn or a tiny home. It all depends on how the land is classified and what the county allows. Zoning might be agricultural, rural, residential, something else entirely. Each one comes with different rules, and even on rural land, most counties do require permits for permanent structures. That's just reality. Doesn't have to be a big deal, but you want to know going in rather than find out mid-project. If you're planning to build anything, you'll also want to look into well drilling and septic regulations for your area. Every county handles this differently, and if the property came with any deed restrictions or covenants, read those documents from your closing carefully. The good news, most county planning and zoning offices are genuinely helpful. You can call them, go in, ask basic questions. A lot of them are happy to walk new landowners through what applies to their situation. Don't be intimidated by that stuff. Okay, let's talk money. Because the purchase price is one thing, but the first year of land ownership does come with other costs, and it helps to be mentally prepared for that. Property taxes are usually the obvious one. Depending on where your land is, that might be pretty modest. Rural, vacant land tends to be taxed pretty low, but it's a real cost and it comes around every year. Beyond that, you might end up spending money on clearing brush or cleaning up the property. Road or driveway improvements if access is rough. Fencing if you're planning to have animals at any point. Potentially a well or some kind of water solution if there's nothing existing. And if you're going off grid, a basic solar setup, propane, composting toilet, that kind of thing. None of this is meant to scare you. Most of these are optional in year one, or at least something you can phase in over time. The point is just give yourself a flexible budget. Things in land projects tend to take a little longer and cost a little more than the original estimate. That's pretty universal. Just build in some cushion and you'll be fine. When it comes to actually developing the land, and not everyone does this right away, which is totally valid, Most experienced landowners will tell you the same thing. Start with infrastructure, access first. If you can't reliably get onto your property year-round, everything else is harder. Contractors can't get in. You can't get in. So if the driveway or road is rough, that's usually the first thing worth improving. Then water. Know where your water is coming from before you decide where to put a structure. That shapes everything, and power. Off-grid solar has gotten a lot more affordable and a lot more reliable in recent years. Even a basic setup can make the land way more usable. A lot of people also do some version of temporary shelter first, a camping trailer, a yurt, even a solid shed, while longer-term plans come together. That way you can actually spend time on the land, which is huge. You make better decisions when you know the place. And honestly, you don't need to do all of this at once. Taking it one project at a time almost always leads to better outcomes. Fewer mistakes, less stress, better results. One of the bigger mindset shifts that happens in year one, and this catches a lot of people off guard, is learning to work with the land instead of fighting it. Dirt roads get muddy. Some seasons they're just not passable. Plan your projects around that. Wildlife is going to show up, especially once you start any kind of gardening or if you bring in animals. Deer, raccoons, wild hogs in some areas, they're part of the deal. If you're in a drier climate, fire risk and water storage become real considerations, not just background noise. And a lot of rural properties have some invasive plants that need managing. Getting on top of that early makes a real difference down the road. One of the best things you can do, and this sounds simple, but it's genuinely valuable, is get to know your neighbors and find local farming or homesteading groups in the area. People who've lived on adjacent land for years know things. Seasonal patterns, local contractors who are actually reliable, what grows well, what doesn't. That kind of knowledge is hard to get anywhere else, and most people in rural communities are pretty generous about sharing it. Now, the honest part. The first year of land ownership is rarely perfectly smooth. It's just not. Things take longer than you think they will. Learning curves are real. You'll change your plans more than once. That's not failure. That's just how this works. What helps is keeping it simple. Pick one or two meaningful goals for the year. Maybe it's getting the road passable. Maybe it's just spending enough time on the property to really understand it. Maybe it's getting a water source figured out. Whatever it is, focus there. Don't try to do everything. Keep some kind of log, photos, notes, whatever works for you. You'll be surprised how much changes in a year, and it's really satisfying to look back at where you started. And visit the property as much as you can, even if you're not doing anything. Just being there, walking around, thinking it's part of the process. Land ownership is a long game. That's one of the things I genuinely love about it. You're not just buying a piece of ground, you're building a relationship with a place over time. The first year is the beginning of that, and there's a lot of good stuff ahead. If you're still in the thinking about buying stage and you want to see what's actually available, come check us out at landparker.com. We've got rural, vacant land across the country at prices that are genuinely affordable. And our owner financing options make it possible for a lot of people who figured land ownership just wasn't in the cards for them. Head to landparker.com and take a look. You might find something that surprises you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I'll see you on the next one.